The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Best talk, the best debates.
I just vehemently disagree with you.
News Radio 1110, KFAB. If it's happening here, you're hearing it here.
I don't agree with you. I just don't agree with you. I want to see some things done for America.
I agree with you, and I'm hoping you're going to help us with that. I just want to say the point you were making, excellent. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Your news, your views, your voice, your talk station. Today's News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Mr. Volin, the president brought up his birth certificate the other day, and I hadn't heard mention of it in quite some time, and I thought, well, what the heck, man, we got to look into that. Mr. Volin has been involved in the investigation to the birth certificate for a number of years. Michael Volin joins us on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Michael, welcome to the big show.
And thank you for having me on, Chris.
Well, I really appreciate your time today, and, the president brought this up the other day. And you've been digging in this for a really long time. In fact, I'm on your website right now, and you offer a sheriff's kit. And what I think is even more amazing, you have a phone number that apparently if anybody has a tip or if people doubt you, they can just call you up and say, what's up with this? That's pretty bold, and you must be very confident about your findings so far.
Yes, we are. That phone number is to put you in direct contact with me. I do this one-on-one, Chris. Many people call me. They want more information. They're scared. They're afraid. They want to know what they can do. And that's how I got to where we are today with how many participants we have with the sheriff kits and going to Congress. And that was our whole focus, was to take the findings of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and put it in a format where you can download it. Everything there is downloadable for free. I've mailed out thousands of kits to people who want to get involved. If you can't download them, I'll mail them out one by one. I treat each person one-on-one individually.
Well, you are very passionate about this. You've gone to great lengths investigating this story, and it seems as though that the story has just died out, and whether there's, confirmable evidence or not, it just seems that people are, whatever, who cares? Tell us what you've learned.
Let me give you a recap of what happened. 2008, Obama was running for office. He popped up out of the middle of nowhere. He only had 100 and some odd days as a U.S. Senator. Questions were starting to be asked about his background. He's got 4 different aliases, Chris. We didn't know where he came from. He had no experience. He's definitely unqualified to run the country. He had no executive leadership. And then people started questioning his background. There was rumors about him being born in Kenya with the 4 different aliases. We wanted to see a birth certificate to see if he was qualified, if he was born in the United States. His entire background, hanging out with every communist person there is. And the White House the campaign came up with 3 different versions of an original certificate of live birth. It's a short form piece of paper that's got very limited information. That was proved to be a forgery. Then they got him in office. Once he got in office, I guess they thought it was all set and done. And we struggled for years. We kept the website up. We developed a stamp, Where's Obama's Birth Certificate.com. That was to circumvent the mainstream media who did not, and still today does not want to hear anything about this information. And eventually, the surprise Arizona Tea Party petitioned Sheriff Joe Arpaio in Maricopa County to run an investigation, just simply look at what we have and look at it. And the Sheriff Department wanted to put this to rest. And within 24 hours, the lead investigator, Mike Zullo, came back and said there's a problem. And that developed into a several-month investigation where they found out that the birth certificate that was uploaded to the White House website is a forgery. It's layered, it's a fake, it's a fabrication. During that investigation, they also found out his selective service registration form was a fabrication. We had obtained, not me personally, we had obtained a copy of that through the Freedom of Information Request Act before the White House commandeered that, and found out that that's a forgery. He was supposed to register for selective service stamp back in 1980 when he turned the age of 18 to 19. That was a fabrication. Then there was a publication of a bio where Obama supplied information saying he was born in Kenya himself. That was a mistake. Everything is a mistake, Chris, about this man. Everything they have an answer for,
right.
It's a typographical error.
Let me get a couple of questions in here. And by the way, audience, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. You can ask Mr. Volin any questions you want. All right, we're going to open the phones for you. 402-558-1110. You say it's 4 aliases. What are the 4 aliases?
We have Barry Obama, Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro, and one word, an Indonesian name, Sobakar. That's how the names were given in Indonesia, and that's when he went to school as a child. His alleged mother's second marriage, Lolo Soetoro, took him to Indonesia, where he enrolled in an Indonesian school where you had to be an Indonesian citizen, and that's where that name surfaced from.
And you said his selective service card is fake. How did you determine that was fake?
Post Office, since the beginning of time, always uses a 4-digit stamp. Back then, it should have been 1980. Today, it would obviously be 2014. In a rush, when they found out and started looking and FOIA requests were put out, they realized that he had to have a selective service stamp on file, otherwise there would have been more digging of information. What they did is they took a 2008 stamp. They cut it, but they cut it too close to the 0. They flipped it upside down so the fat part of the 8 is on the top, and they put it inside the selective stamp, the pica stamp from the post office. And now he's the only one in the entire world, Chris, that has only a 2-digit stamp with an upside down 8 closer to the outside circle. If you watch that video on my website, it's only 3 minutes and 41 seconds.
Right.
It shows you how it was forged.
So I've heard I actually saw a video where they pulled apart the birth certificate. I hadn't really seen the selective service story yet, and I'll go look at that. And I've also heard a story that keeps floating around about a Social Security number that does not match where he was born or where he lived in Hawaii.
That's correct. We don't concentrate on that. That's being done by other investigators, but I can tell you this. The Social Security number was gotten from a tax return that he had filed and presented to the public, like every candidate wants to show, and I guess they felt they had to show that. He's got a Connecticut Social Security number. He's never been in Connecticut. The numbers are issued geographically. They start with 0 on the East Coast.
Right.
I was born on the East Coast. Mine starts with 0. Then they run all the way to the West Coast in ascending order, and Hawaii should start with a 5-3, I believe. It starts with Connecticut. He's never been in Connecticut. There's no tie to Connecticut. And there's a whole theory behind where he got the number and how he got the number.
Oh, boy. All right, let me do this. I'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls, 402-558-1110. Now, I would like phone calls from skeptics. Okay, I want skeptics to talk to Mr. Volin. You can ask the question. Skeptics, all right? It's a Chris Baker radio program. Mr. Volin, we'll be right back to you. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. It's a Chris Baker program. Chris Baker radio program. It's News Radio 1110 KFAB. Joining us right now is Mike Volin. Mr. Volin is an investigator. He has been searching out the president's birth certificate information. The president brought it up the other day, and I thought, well, if the president brought it up the other day, obviously we need to look into it again. Mr. Volin joins us on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Mike, thanks a lot for hanging on. In fact, we're going to ask Mike to stay with us a bit longer because many people have questions for you, Mr. Volin. You're very popular. It's very exciting.
That's fine, Chris, and everybody who's come to my site has turned out to be a patriot.
All right, here we go. This is Ken. Ken, you're on with Mike Volin. You're on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call, Chris. Yeah, Mr. Volin, I have a question. If the Clinton machine could not come up with something against Barack Obama, we're talking about Bill and Hillary Clinton who've gotten away with real estate scams, dead bodies. We're talking the dirt of the dirt of the dirt. And these guys couldn't come up with all this stuff, and they have their Clinton machine.
All right, let's let him answer the question for sake of time.
Okay, that's a great question. There was a Hollywood producer named Viviana Bettino. I've had her on my radio show. I do a blog talk radio show. And Hillary Clinton was actually the original person that coined the term birther. They were threatened. She came on, she was interviewed by Dr. Jerome Corsi, and they had threatened Hillary, they threatened Bill. And Bill was on a telephone conference call with Miss Viviano, and they threatened the life of Chelsea. And Bill said, it's over.
What? The Chelsea Clinton was threatened in this deal?
I have Miss Viviano on my show. It's archived. You can click on my website on the lower left-hand side, Blog Talk Radio. Go in the archives. You can hear Miss Viviano.
Oh no, I don't doubt you. I don't doubt that you said this. I'm blown away that would have happened to them. I mean, I can see it happening to you, and I can see it happening to me. But who the heck threatens the Clintons? I mean, my goodness, he was the president of the United States, for goodness sakes. He's got Secret Service details. Unbelievable.
Apparently, it was a credible threat because Bill told everybody back off of it. It's a dead horse.
Oh, we got to get him on the show. Ariel, we got to get him on the show. It's very, very important. All right. 402-558-1110. Let's see. Let's talk to Rick. Hi, Rick. You are on with Mike Volan. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for what you're doing, sir.
All right, go ahead, sir. Your question, please.
My question is, on birth certificate records, there are numbers, file numbers, like NO001978, and each birth certificate has one. Has anybody ever checked the 10 birth certificates before Obama's or after Obama's and see if they're copacetic, so to speak? And you can do the same thing with a selective service card. Get the ones that were printed before him and the ones after him.
All right, let's get the answer here, Mr. Volan. Have you checked those numbers?
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office spent months in Hawaii. Mike Zullo, the numbers don't add up, Rick. His numbers are totally out of sequence with the birth records registered back in August of 1961. They just don't match.
Wow. Now, see, I got to tell you, my mind is spinning. You know, I hear of threats against the Clintons and then numbers that don't add up. Mike, from your investigation, just speculatively, who do you think is pushing this deal? Martians? I mean, I'm trying to think of who's so powerful that they could threaten the Clintons.
That's a good question. Is it George Soros? That name pops in. You know, he's very popular out there he's destroyed how many countries? He's collapsed how many currencies? Is it a one world government that's trying to take over the world? Who's pushing this? Probably the elitists. They probably want to crumble the middle class and buy up all the middle class assets, so there'll only be two people in this entire world, the elitists and the people that are struggling. So want to bring us back to the serfdom days?
Oh, wow. We're talking with Mike Volan. Mr. Volan is an investigator. The president brought up his birth certificate the other day. And so we decided, well, what the heck? You know, we ought to take a look and see what's going on with the birth certificate. Mike, of course, with where'sobamasbirthcertificate.com. And I'm especially looking for skeptics to question Mr. Volan. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Here's Dustin. You're on with Mike Volan. Dustin, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I believe I am a skeptic, and I hope you'll understand the nature of the intent of the question. Why bother with a forgery if we're in a situation where this is the elitists involved in this? Certainly they would have the power to, say, pick whatever birth certificate would be appropriate and then eliminate the person that rightfully owned it.
Oh, my.
And then, boom, he's got a legitimate birth certificate. I'm just not buying
Oh, yeah, it could be like an illegal alien, right? Where they go and they steal the identification of a dead person.
Why bother, or make them dead? Why bother with a forgery when you can just as easily create a proper original or acquire a proper original?
Oh, it's interesting.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Very good question right there. Mr. Volan, what do you think about that?
That's a great question, Dustin. Thank you. Don't forget, they had to get the numbers sequenced. They had to put numbers as close as they could have in August of 1961. So even if they did that, Dustin, they would have to lift the name off that birth certificate and place the name on the new birth certificate. And that's where the problem with the current birth certificate on the White House website. There were things lifted, taken, pasted. Hawaii is complicit in this. Let's think about this. We have Loretta Fuddy, who just died under suspicious circumstances, who is the only Department of Health director in the state of Hawaii, not to hold a medical degree certificate. She was appointed temporary director in January of 2011 after 3 months of another director who resigned under suspicious circumstances, never gave a reason. In March, she was made full-time director, and in April 2011, lo and behold, we have a birth certificate appearing out of the middle of nowhere, which Hawaii said didn't exist. Now, that's also at the same time that Governor Neil Abercrombie came in office. So it all leads back to Hawaii. Chris, there is no birth certificate in the state of Hawaii.
Wow. And then she died in a plane crash, correct?
The only one to die in a controlled water landing plane crash. The only under suspicious circumstances. She had a life vest on. She could have clung to the plane. She was with, I think, 9 other people.
And the 9 other people, were they people that could possibly be connected together to each other? Because, I mean, in theory, she would have had to, I don't know, they would have all had to have colluded in covering up the killing of this woman. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
There's a lot of questions there, Chris.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Let's see. This is Sam. Welcome to News Radio 1110 KFAB. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. My question is, there was a contemporaneous announcement in the newspaper of his birth. How can you explain? Did somebody know back in 1961, 40 years later, he'd be running for president? Or how do you explain that?
Very good question. All right. Thanks a lot, Sam. Go ahead, Mike.
That's a good one there. Either it was put in as a forgery. Later on, it was inserted into the files in the Department of Health. Or, this is my theory, Stanley Ann Dunham is not his mother. She either all of a sudden got a baby dropped at her doorstep, and it was a black baby, and back then in 1961, it just didn't mix white and black. That's no problem. And all of a sudden, her parents said, well, what are you doing? We have to do something about this. And they went and put the announcement in the newspaper. It doesn't say that he was born in Hawaii. It just says that she gave birth. Or the other theory is, Chris, that he was adopted overseas. She didn't like the way the life was overseas. She knew in America she can, raise a child much easier under better circumstances, brought the baby back, a colored baby, to Hawaii, and the parents wanted to put an announcement in the paper to make it look all right, and that's how Barack Obama Sr., who was not Obama's father, got into the picture, was listed on the father. And one more thing, Chris, since we're talking about black. On his birth certificate, if you look at it, the race of the father says African. Africa is a continent. It's not a race.
All right, let me do this. I got to go to the news here. We'll come back. One more segment with Mike Volan investigating the president's birth certificate since the president brought it up. Well, what the heck? We'll take a look at it. Mike, hang on. We'll be right back here. Chris Baker Radio Show, Skeptics, 402-588-1110. Chris Baker Radio Show, News Radio 1110 KFAB, our remaining segment with Mike Volan. Mike Volan investigating the president's birth certificate. Because he brought it up. We figure, what the heck? Let's see what's going on. Mike, welcome back to the big show. Now, your website is where's Obama's birthcertificate.com. And you offer sheriff's kits. What exactly is the sheriff's kit?
The sheriff kit is the investigation that the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department did. I'd like to thank them for that. It was brought on by the Surprise Tea Party Patriots in Arizona. It's the investigation showing how the birth certificate is laid in Adobe Illustrator. You can take it apart to select the service stamp and other items included in the kit. There's also a universal shattering video. If you click on my site on the upper right side, it's a 9-minute video. It's a primer. It's a cursor. We go back to the days of Chris Matthews saying Obama was born in Indonesia. It's right there in the video, Chris Matthews himself saying it.
Well, his credibility is somewhere, I don't know, around negative 8,000. So that right there could blow your case right out the window. It just, now I understand that there's some big news coming out. Is that true? This is what I keep hearing, that we're going to hear something from Sheriff Arpaio's investigation.
Absolutely, positively. They had a target date set in March, but with all the information coming forward, more and more information is coming on. That's the police department, Chris. They're compiling the information. They're putting it on paper. They're making sure everything's right. Now, back to the sheriff kit for 1 minute. What happened when the information got out, and it's in that universal shattering video, you can hear Mike say that It was shut down 24 hours after the release of the information. They were supposed to be on the Sean Hannity show that night. Hannity pulled the plug, and you can hear Mike say that.
Hannity pulled the plug.
It's right there, Chris.
Oh,
Watch
my.
The Universal show. Oh, yeah. If Hannity would have had that on, Chris, we would have had a different country today. And they pulled it, and they've been threatened. You can even hear Mike say it live. I mean, I have the video there saying that they were threatened. They were threatened with their
Who was
jobs.
threatened? Sean Hannity was threatened?
I don't know if it was exactly Hannity, but he said media execs, producers, and everybody involved in the media network.
Oh, my. Wow. I see. Wow, threatening Hannity.
Well,
He's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy. You would think Sean
I'm going
Hannity...
to call him and find out if he was threatened. I'm going to ask him. That's what I'm going to do.
Watch the video first. It's about the 6 or 7 minute mark, and you can hear Mike say it clearly.
Fascinating. All right, let's get a couple more questions. We appreciate your time today, Mr. Volan. Let's see. Here is, we got that. Okay, Dave, hi, you're on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Dave?
Yes. Hi, Detective.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. What's your question?
I like to know if you got all this information, all this evidence, what are you going to do about it, or what can you do about it? Can you get him out of office?
What can be done? Let's say that somebody comes up with rock-solid, conclusive proof, lives to release it, proves it, lives to say he proved it, then what happens?
Yeah, what happens?
It's going to be a question. We've never had this before. We've been saying this since day one. That's why we had a sheriff kit. We went to Congress, Chris. People download my sheriff's kits. I mailed them out. If you can't download them, look at all the pictures on my website. There's 2 pictures of presentations. I went through the painstaking process of taking a picture, giving the presentations. You can see me hovering over my laptop. We went to Congressman's office, met with congressmen. They're scared. They give the same response. It's a word response. It's a memo. We believe he was born in Hawaii. Now, with that said, Chris, I have a number of congressmen who I communicate with almost on a regular basis, who are ready, who want to do something. But over the past several months, and I really hated to do this because I came so far, I put them on hold. Wait, just hold on. I told them, wait for the shattering information, universal shattering information to come out, and then we'll go back, and they're going to do their job, Chris. So
the shattering information is going to come from the Arpaio department?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Oh, because people see him as very credible. You're not going to see a lot of people arguing with Sheriff Joe Arpaio and his investigators. What about Donald Trump? He was all over this for a while. What happened to him?
Well, that's what happened, Chris. In April 2011, the Tea Party, the Surprise Arizona Tea Party Patriots, they went and had a private meeting with Donald Trump and said there's something wrong here. And Trump grabbed the microphone and actually got a copy of his own birth certificate, and that kind of forced the White House to bring it up almost 3 years after we requested one. And then don't forget, Jerome Corsi had the book coming out that next 2 weeks.
You know,
a
lot of people think Jerome Corsi's a nut. You know that, right?
He's not a nut.
There's a lot of people that think, what are you talking to that guy for? They think he's a little whacked out. He's a sharp guy. All right, one more question real quick before we get out of here. JT, you're on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Hi, JT.
Yeah, hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. Mr. Volan, thanks for being here. Is it Mr. Volan? Should I call you Mike or Michael? Or?
Whatever. Just how about your question so we don't run out of time?
Yeah, my question to Mr. Volan is, how in the world can you possibly characterize Barry Obama as being an alias when it's just the person's nickname they went by as a kid? And if so, how come you're using the alias Mike Volan or Michael Volan or Mr. Volan for that matter?
Where were you born, Mr. Volan?
What is it you have to hide, Volan? What is it
My
you
name
have
is
to hide?
Michael Volan. I was born in Queens, New York. My phone number's on the website.
So why do you go by Mike then? That's an alias, isn't it? What do you have to hide?
I'm trying to answer the question. Mike.
Well, why do you use all those different names? If you're using all those different names, then it's...
Well, hang on. Hey, JT, hang on, sir. Don't be that way. Let's let... JT, can you let him answer... JT, now you're being silly. Why don't you let him answer the question, and then you can ask him a follow-up question, okay? Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, I booked the guy. They said the name's Michael. I call him Mike. Michael, Who cares?
But he said Barry and Barack are aliases.
Okay, well, let's let him go through the other aliases and then explain why he calls them aliases, and then you can ask him a follow-up question. How's that? All right, very good. All right, go ahead, Mr. Volan. Mr. Mike, Mr. Volan.
Thank you, Chris. I have to put up with that all the time. My name is Michael Volan. That's the name on my birth certificate, and I'll show it if you want. People call me Mike my whole life. My entire life has been Mike. That's a nickname. You have Christopher. People call you Chris. That is my name. There's no nickname that changes my last name. It's not Michael Obama. It's not Michael Sotero. I've never changed my last
Barry
name.
Obama was an alias.
Well, so there's 4 aliases. Let him explain it, and then you can ask follow-up.
Which name do you believe? Do you believe Sobokar? When he went to Indonesia, when his name was changed, and he came back with another name?
Obama never used the name Sobokar on anything.
Yes, he did. It was on his
scratched out on his mother's passport. It has no meaning whatsoever. It's never been connected to Barack Obama.
Why
Barack
was it
Hussein
scratched out
Obama
on
was
his
born in
mother's
Hawaii, and all his records show it.
Well,
and
hang on, JT, hang on, JT, hang on.
Farce, and you're a bunch of anti-American criminals.
Oh, criminals. What? Oh, and then he hung up. Well, I guess he's on to us, Michael.
I guess so, Chris.
We're anti-American criminals. Oh, okay. Well, JT, thanks for that call. That was exactly what I was hoping for. Here is, real quick, Mark, you are on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Yeah, I was wondering if he knew anything about presumptive citizenship, where, like, Lee Terry is a full share citizen because he's bonded to the United States, whereas I'm not.
No, well, let's ask him real quick for us to run out of time. Michael, does presumptive citizenship somehow apply in this investigation?
Chris, we don't know where he was born, who his mother is, who his parents are. Presumptive citizenship, it doesn't matter. What we concentrated is on forged documents. The man is a forgery.
All right, Mr. Volan, I appreciate your call. Mark, we appreciate your phone call. The website, where'sobamasbirthcertificate.com, is where you can go for more information. If you'd like to call Mr. Volan, there's a phone number right there in gigantic numbers, too. You know something? Here's what I find amazing, Mr. Volan, is that I call businesses and look for numbers on businesses and government agencies constantly. They never have a number. Yours is gigantic on your website.
Because we want to get the truth out, Chris.
Yeah.
This is the greatest scam in American history. Chris, 2 more websites, birthreport.com. We've been working together side by side. You get current daily information, birthreport.com and thepostemail.com. The only 3 top websites to get current, truthful information. We don't make stuff up, Chris. Hit the contact me form on the website. Guess what? I respond to you. Call that phone number. Guess what? I answer you. I'll mail you a kit out. Give a presentation to your congressman. It's now gone to state reps. It's now gone to local radio stations, TV stations, and now, Chris, I have 3 sheriff departments that I'm in contact with.
And now you've been on the big show.
I've been on the big show.
There you go. All right, Mr. Volan, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure, and thanks a lot. We look forward to this earth-shattering information. Take care.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks to you callers.
All right, take care. There he is, Michael Volan. How about that, everybody? That was awesome. It's the Chris Baker Show. News Radio 1110 KFAB.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.